Think bread, TYG, luxury tax. Media house, what up, dude?
Welcome to Media House Entertainment.
Yo, this your boy Shooter Trav. We live and direct with another interview. How you feeling today?
Feeling great for Sunday.
So let the people know who I have on the platform.
My name is Nitza, and I'm a model. I've been modeling for about 20 years now, actually. And on Instagram, I'm known as Nitza, and I'm local to the Raleigh-Durham area, North Carolina, but I'm often traveling to Atlanta, Miami, doing work in LA.
And you say you've been modeling like 20 years now? You put in that much work? So you started real young?
Yeah, I've been modeling since I was a teenager.
Yeah. And what got you into the modeling thing? It just, you know.
Actually, my mother, it was her idea. I'm from New York. I'm born and raised from New York. So when I was a kid, my mom, she put me in modeling school at a really young age. She just thought it would be like a really good foundation, just as a woman, just for etiquette and things like that.
Right.
But it ended up, opening so many doors, along the way and so many opportunities. So I'm kind of thankful that she gave me that push at a young age.
At a young age. Do you remember your very first music video?
It was, I'm trying to think, what was the first one? I know it was like, obviously an independent artist, small artist. You know what? I do. It was, wait, see, I'm not sure. I don't know if it was the first one or not. It was an artist here. He never really made it in North Carolina. I think his name is, he used to go by Spitz or Super Spitz or something like that.
Okay.
And it was actually, it was at the Browns pool table in off Atlantic Springs or whatever.
Yeah.
That was like, I think that might have been the first video of it. I think so.
Yeah. And what was that experience like? As far as like, cause you've been doing it for a long time. So how was that experience when your very first video?
Didn't know what to expect. That video was a little bit kind of thrown together. The director had like a vision, and I could tell he knew what he wanted, but at that time I don't think the director like had a treatment. I didn't even know what a treatment was, but like he didn't have a treatment ready. You know, like no one really knew what to expect time-wise. It was very like thrown together and disorganized. So now I've just learned so much. Like I know what to expect. I ask questions. I'm like, what's the timeline? What's the treatment? What's the wardrobe? What's my role? And so it was kind of thrown together.
Yeah, so that's a whole learning curve that you had to go through, right? So it's like, just talk about the proper way to book models for music videos, because it's like, when guys hop in the DM, I don't know how they might approach you guys, like, just talk about the appropriate way to book a video model.
Yeah,
if you want to get
I
about
guess
it.
Depends whether it's a director or an artist. Obviously, you want to, DM a girl. Hopefully, she's a model, and ask, do you model professionally, or do you do music videos? If so, what are your rates? What's your availability? What are your conditions? All that stuff. Do you require a deposit? Kind of those questions. Definitely be specific and have your information like ready. When people DM me and ask me, they'll say, do I do music videos? Or they may say like, do you want to be in my video? Well, it's not that I don't want to be in your video. It's, are you going to pay me to be in your video? Like, I'll deliver the service and be in your video if you pay me. We don't ask, do I want to, because I'm not doing music videos for shits and giggles. Like, I'm doing it because I get paid to. I'm a professional, and like I'm gonna get the job done. That's why you pay me.
Yeah.
But have an idea of like where it's gonna take place, how many hours. What do you want from the model? Is it gonna be 2 to 3 outfits? Are you gonna need her 2 to 3 hours? Is it multiple girls? Is it gonna be inside, outside? Like, have an idea. This way, the girl can get herself together. If you're gonna need her next weekend, make sure she has her hair done. Make sure she has her nail. I mean, models should be keeping themselves together anyways. But don't ask her, can you do a video today at 5 o'clock?
Right,
You know,
right.
and expect to find like the baddest girl who's just sitting around waiting for your DM to be ready.
And
2
well
hours.
put together and all of that,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't work like that. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of maintenance between obviously being a female, but being a model. Again,
Right.
hair, makeup, nails, wardrobe too. Like you might have the perfect outfit for this video, but you got to make sure it's clean or ironed or dry cleaned or whatever.
Yeah, so it's a lot to go. It's a lot to go
of
into it.
preparation, yeah, and you know you want to look your best, like you're representing yourself as a model, so and you want to obviously get the best rate, so you know you want to deliver the best service.
And how do models go about like creating their hourly rate? As far as like, how do y'all go about doing that?
Technically,
I know experience, the more experience
yeah, I
you
was gonna
have,
say
and the
yes,
more.
experience, but also it has to be. You have to take into account like the demographic, like the area that you're in, your region. You know,
Yeah.
obviously like rates in, I would say rates in LA and Miami are higher. Those are bigger cities. Things are spread out. So you may say, yeah, I'm filming in LA, but the model has to take an Uber that costs, you know, $38 to the site. So it's like if you pay her $150, well, $38 just went to Uber, you know. So like her rates in LA and New York are gonna be more because a model might live in Manhattan and you're filming in Queens. Like it's a long travel time.
It's a long
commute.
travel, yeah.
You know, here in North Carolina and Raleigh or Atlanta, things are much closer together where you're filming on a studio, warehouse, or things like that. So girls have to take into account their rate, like how much their commute is, obviously their experience.
Right.
And then sometimes it's also about their following. I know for bigger productions, you know, artists like Rick Ross, he only wants Instagram models like in his videos. You know, he wants 10, 20,000 at least followers or
followers
more
okay.
for their models.
Okay.
Some artists request that. Some, you know, directors, they want the girls' Instagrams to see, you know, if they have a big influence so that they can obviously help promote the song, the video, things like that.
Right. And with your experience doing these music videos, what do you like working with the major artists or like the upcoming artists better? I guess it depends, huh?
It kind of depends. I actually like working for like independent artists. It's a shorter day. Usually they've had more time to think about it. They show up on time. Most of the time they show up on time.
Yeah.
But it depends. I like a small artist with a really big director. That's kind of my favorite combination. The bigger productions take long. You might be on set for 10 to 12 hours. There may or may not be food.
Okay.
You know, the artist may not even come. Like, you know, I've been on a set where it's like, oh, the artist, he's flying in 4 hours from now, but I've been here since 10 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, wait, did we start? Are we going to start? So I love a small production, like a small independent artist. It's great. He knows what he wants, you know. Like, he's just creative. He's had time to think about it. So you can get more done with a
Out of that.
smaller artist.
Yeah. So who are some of your favorite directors that you have worked with over the years?
Locally, of course, No Ratchets and Illy Rock. Those guys are great. But like from Atlanta, actually I love Marcus Harris, M. Harris Films. He does like all Moneybag Yo's videos. He's so great, and he'll like reach out to me for things in Atlanta, specifically like because he knows like I'm a good, you know, I'm a good fit for the role. Full with the camera. Everything he does is a movie. He's very like cinematic. I could tell that he wants to like go beyond music videos and do like real like movie productions. And then in Atlanta, in Miami, I would say Damian Fife. He just recently did the Kodak Black. What is it? Let's Get Peachy.
Okay.
Music video. He's fantastic. He's very creative. Colors. I would say cinematic also. Those guys are my favorite. They know what they want. They're very organized, very decisive. You know, even though they kind of take into account what the artist wants, like they have this vision and they see the bigger picture.
Right.
So I trust their judgment.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So overall, what do you see yourself taking your career at? You know, I know, like you say, you model, socialite, model girl. You do a lot of different things. But overall, where are you trying to take your overall career?
One day, I'd love to like host a TV show or like a game show. I'd love to actually be on, you know, like a network. But right now, I'm kind of still just doing modeling as a stepping stone. I love working with other models and collabing with them on projects and things like that. But yeah, I'd really love to one day take it to TV.
Yeah, take it to that level. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the importance of networking. Like being a model to expand your brand, you got to get out here and network, right? So all the people, like the models that may watch this video that want to get into the game and want to know how to build a brand and get with bigger name artists, like how would they go about doing that?
I'm gonna say, I mean, a good name. My dad always says like a good name will, take you further than anything else. Having a really good reputation and building that reputation. So, for example, I'm very reliable when it comes to getting booked. Somebody books me for something, they know like I'm not going to cancel. If I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. They can count on me. That goes a long way, and people kind of remember that. Especially if you show up on time, you show up at all. Being professional, don't come to whatever gig, drunk, hungover, look like you partied last night.
Right.
Sometimes girls they get caught up in all of that. It's like they come, they're going to do a video the next day, or they don't make it because they partied. It's like, no, like take this seriously because again, these guys are going to remember. Yeah, reputation. I would say networking. It's definitely who you know, and you got to leave them with like a good impression. I mean, really, you have to be memorable. Like, why you versus this girl? Why you versus why her? Why her? Like, why would we rebook you? Why would we choose you? How do you stand out compared to other models?
Right.
For me, I'm actually one of the older models. Why do I still get booked? Because I'm reliable. I mean, I think so. I think that's probably the reason why they still book me. It's because I respond, I'm reliable, and I get good work. Like I just do a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Many times they'd love to book other models, but they didn't respond or they couldn't get them or they never got an answer. And it's like, well, that's more money in my pocket because you guys don't respond.
They don't respond. Yeah, and elaborate on that because you did drop a video talking about that, how girls don't respond to DMs and all of that type of stuff.
PSA to all my ladies who are models. If you have the word model in your bio, if it says DM for bookings, DM for inquiries, DM for promotions, and you don't check your DM, girl, you're not a model then. You're just a pretty bitch that takes nice pictures. It's up to you. It's like, if you're going to come off and represent yourself as a model, how do you expect to get paid? How do you expect to get booked and stay busy? Like, you're ignoring your DMs. It's either you want to be a model and get paid or you're just a pretty bitch that takes nice pictures. But don't confuse the two. Then don't come off and say that you're a model because by definition, you're a model if you get hired, booked, and paid to do a modeling job. And on the flip side, if the person that's DMing you isn't stating an appropriate rate, isn't asking the right questions, then take that time to educate that person because obviously you're the one who has more experience as a model. Let them know your hourly rate. Let them know the terms and conditions that you need in order to consider the job. Like, don't ignore the DM talking about I'm a model, I'm a model. No, you're not because you're not answering any DMs. People are trying to book you.
So kind of elaborate on that a little more, like, what's the situation on that? Why don't females respond sometimes that they say they models? Is it because of the overwhelming amount of DMs that one may get from guys, or?
Yes and no. I think there's like this stigma to being an IG model that, you don't have to be so accessible or, people should, try harder to get in contact with you. But honestly, it's just a matter of business at this point. It's do you want to get booked? Do you want to be busy? Do you want to get paid? Answer your DMs. Like, these girls say they're models, they're IG models, they're fashion models, or they'll say I'm an entrepreneur/model, but they don't open their DMs. They don't, I get they get a lot of message requests, but they need to get into the habit of going through them and seeing what's a possible gig. Obviously if they I ignore the hey beautiful ones, but if they say are you available or I need this or do you model, whatever, I'm gonna open that.
You're gonna open it up, yeah.
Because that could be, that's an opportunity. That's potential. It could turn into a transaction.
Yeah.
So
and put you to that level where you're trying to, get to. A lot of people trying to.
Through that. I think that they just kind of get caught up, whether they just get overwhelmed and how many, but they really have to learn how to respond because there's money in that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. So being in your line of work, right? You're around a lot of guys with money. Is it hard to keep a relationship Is it hard to stay in a relationship with the field that you're in?
I don't think so. Not because of guys with money. I think
It's just that would just make the average guy maybe insecure
I was
type
gonna
of way.
say that's really what the issue
Yeah,
is.
that's why the issue would be like a
Men
guy would
are
be insecure.
often insecure because you're popping or you're known.
Right.
And sometimes they can't handle the amount of attention that you as
One
a
would
model
get, yeah.
Or you go somewhere and people show you love, or the DJs know me, the promoters know
Right,
how do you
right.
do that? And I'm like, well, because I've been here. I mean, our paths cross, we work, we network. Like, they should know me. That's a good thing. But they kind of get really insecure about it. So
yeah,
I
it's
try
tough.
I try to only date equally popular people.
Yeah,
I feel like
they understand.
Unfortunately, that's kind of the only option that I have, because if not, they're
It's insecure. Yeah, that was the question I was trying to get to on that one. So let's slide into like photographers, working with different photographers. Do you like doing photo shoots or video shoots better? Are they kind of two different things? I know,
two
but
different things. I mean, photo shoots, obviously, it adds to your portfolio. You get to take something home with it. You can be more creative. There's really no boundaries. With video shoots, you're stuck delivering a concept that somebody else thought of. So it's really not yours. It's not your baby. With photo shoots, it's like, there's no limits. You can create whatever you want.
yeah. So have you had any like terrible experience? You don't have to call any directors or anybody out if you have, but have you could talk about any terrible experience that you maybe had with a director or a photographer?
Over the years, I would say, of course, there's a couple of photographers I've worked with over the years who, reach out for some sort of collaboration, and they may not have delivered my pictures or something, months later to come and I reach out and they ghost me and things like that. And it's kind of, for me, it's frustrating because my time is so valuable. And if I do a collab, it's a window that I gave you that it could have been productive for me to make money elsewhere. So it's like I gave my time away for free to you and I didn't get anything out of it. I didn't even get pictures. So I don't like when I get blown off. I really don't like to do that many collabs. But I learned my lesson. I don't really work with new people. I like to work with the same people that I prefer because they know my style, I know their style, we're comfortable, and it just works.
Yeah.
It's fluid.
Okay. And my next question is like, how does it work, right? Some models pay for pictures. Some models want the photographer just to take the pictures for free. Like, how does that work? Is that like a trade-off or bargain, or like?
There's a little chart. I'll have to send it to you. But
Okay.
There's a little chart that kind of explains this, and it probably should be circulated so that people understand. There's different levels to. It has to do with each craft and the skill set level. For example, let's say you're a new photographer, brand new. You're just a guy with a camera, right? You reach out to a model, right? And she's established. The model's established. She's done photo shoots, video shoots, commercial print stuff. She's been modeling for a while, but you're a new guy, right? She's established. That's not an equal trade because in his world, he's down here. And in her world, she's medium.
Yeah.
Technically, that's not an equal trade. He would have to come up to her level, right? He would have to pay her because he's not on her level in comparison to other photographers. If she's a new model, he's a new photographer, cool.
Okay.
It's an
Work
equal
hand in
trade.
hand. Okay.
Same thing. If I'm a mediocre model and I work with mediocre photographers, we can agree that it's a trade because we're both benefiting.
Yeah.
It really has to do with who's benefiting.
The trade-off. Okay.
The trade-off.
Yeah.
There are photographers that are out of this world that I'm like, oh my gosh, like QB, by the way, she's from Australia. She only comes to the US, like LA, like twice a year. There's a crazy waiting list. Like, one, there's a waiting list for her, and two, like I would have to pay, top dollar to work with her because she's up here, like as a photographer, and I'm still a medium-sized fish.
Yeah, you want to get there.
I would have to pay her packages. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
I can't say, well, I'm a great model too. You pay me. Like, no, she's up here.
Right.
And it's known,
Yeah, it's reality, right?
It's
some people
reality.
live in.
There's some models out here that just say, oh, I don't want to take pictures. Like, if anything, I mean, it could. I mean, an edit could take an hour long. Hopefully, it shouldn't because that's why it's so important for models to maintain really good skin, good makeup, good hair. Less things for them to edit. This way, they can keep their edits within 30 minutes. But again, how much do you get paid hourly? Like, how much are you gonna pay somebody to spend an hour in the computer and edit your photo? Like, what? That
Right.
could be 75 an hour, it could be 50 an hour, 40 an hour. Like, so sometimes I may not pay for my shoots. I might just pay for edits because again, that's time away from their other jobs, their other paid gigs, their families, their kids. Like, you
It
have
makes
to
sense.
value their time and pay for them to spend in front of this computer to fix your stretch marks or edit my tattoos or whatever.
Right, or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you have to really respect the craft because editing is a whole nother world outside of photography. There are people that are just photo retouchers. Again, that's a whole different craft.
It's a whole different
besides
craft.
photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, real
I
talk.
would encourage models to understand that whole concept and understand the value behind an edit. How long it takes and things like that.
Okay. And for anybody watching this that want to book you for a video, how would they get in contact you? And what's the proper way to book you?
I'm on Instagram. It's at Amanda_Nitza. You can DM me. My email's on there also. Model.amanda@gmail.com. And I respond.
Okay, that's dope. And before we get up out of here, though, is there anything that you want to get off your chest? Anything you want to let the people know?
I think we kind of covered everything. I was just, photographers, like, make sure, again, when you DM a model, have your information, let them know what you want to do, where you want to go, like shooting-wise, your concept, how much time. Just be specific. Be intentional with your DMs when you reach out to a model. And models, same thing with photographers, like, when they reach out and they want something done, like, be intentional. Let them know what you want. Don't expect everything to be handed to you and be free because you're pretty, that doesn't. And the whole exposure thing, that's not a thing. Like, we have to end that. Like, nobody gets paid in exposure.
Yeah, end that right now. Y'all here to hear first. I'll go by the name of Shooter Trav, Media House News, and we out.